we have Jason asking, he normally wears utility kilts, and he's wanting something more traditional.
Okay.
He's traced his roots back to a clan origin, and he's asking what's a good way to get into a traditional kilt, and where's a good place to start?
This is us not being egocentric,
Yes.
product heavy people.
Yes. We're not doing a sales pitch here. There's this great company in Spring City, Pennsylvania. I can tell you all about them.
Kilts, right?
Yes, Kilts,
Yeah, I've heard of
exactly.
them.
Wonderful
Yeah,
brand.
Yeah.
It depends on what you want to do. I can only speak to us, so I apologize for being product heavy in this answer. If you're just going to wear it kind of casually, then there are, I'll kind of give you the big umbrella. There are other companies as well that do inexpensive casual type kilts to varying degrees of success and varying countries of origin. If having something made in America or made in Scotland is something to you, be aware that there are many kilt companies that offer things that aren't made there, made in Pakistan, made in China, that kind of thing. Not that there's anything wrong with it, it's just a fact. If you're looking for casual, then a casual type kilt you can get for $100-ish. We, as you move up our scale, have our semi-traditional kilt, which is still the machine washable fabric, but it looks a little bit more like a traditional kilt. And then there's wool kilts, our 5-yard wool or 8-yard wool kilts. And different companies have differing levels of quality, levels of attention to detail, that kind of thing. So no matter who you buy from, do your research on the company and make sure you read reviews and that kind of thing.
Yeah. I'd basically say, think about the events or the occasions where you want to wear it. If you are a serial kilter, like you really like to kilt up all the time, then you might want to start with something that's more rough and tumble, kind of like similar to your Utilakilts, aka a lower end, easy to wash fabric like the polyviscose, which is what we carry. If you want it for special occasions, then you might want to save up and do something like a 5-yard wool, because you're going to do the Utilakilts most of the time, but when it's a special event, you're a special date night, you want to really put on the dog, so you go with the wool because wool just looks nicer and it feels nicer. It could be a seasonal approach. Some people like the PV for summer hot weather and the wool for the winter, so that's another way to break it down. But I would say, since you're already used to wearing kilts, decide on, it's not like you have to break into kilts in general and you have to be worried about, am I going to actually wear this if I buy it? Am I really ready to do this? You're already wearing Utilkilt, so you don't have that hurdle to get over. I would say think about where and when you want to wear it and what your budget is. Personally, I would recommend, again, speaking to our products, because that's what I know, I consider starting with like a semi-traditional kilt, because it's not a huge investment. It's machine washable. It's good for hot weather. And there's a large percentage of tartans in it. Now, if you want to be very specific about the clan tartan you're wearing, you may find that it's only available in wool and not in PV. There's only like 100, 120 tartans in polyviscose, whereas for wool, it's all there. So that might be a factor in your thinking. But that's basically it. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but I think you may decide you want to spend a fair amount of money because this is a special thing as opposed to a daily wear thing, perhaps. The only other thing I might mention, though, is that be prepared for the fact that a traditional kilt is going to fit on your body differently than your Utilikilt. It's not going to be down around your hips. It's going to be up around your navel. Don't try and trust your old Utilikilt measurements when you're ordering a traditional kilt. Take fresh measurements, whether it's our measuring guide or some other provider's measuring guide. Make sure you're very accurate with that. It's a much more form-fitted garment. You're going to look better in it, but you don't want to try and trust your old Utilikilt measurements before you get a trad kilt, because they are different.
Yeah, and I would even go so far as to say, if you're wearing it regularly, Utilakilts or otherwise, and you think you want to get into wearing a traditional kilt or wearing a tartan kilt, I'll put it, the whole thing in that, under that heading, tartan kilt. Then, if you're going to want to wear, you don't have to stop at one. They're like tattoos. They're like chips. You can have more than one. What I generally would say is get now taking out the Utilikilt aspect for the time being, you're going to have different occasions where you want to wear stuff. So if you're going to be running out to the mall or cutting the grass or whatever, and you want to have on your kilt for ventilation, then a casual kilt would do just fine. and then a wool kilt, save that for the nicer events or for times where you want to dress it up a little bit more. That way you have, both ends of the spectrum covered. So in the same way that you wear your UK for, just daily grind kind of stuff, you can have a tartan kilt for a similar circumstance than a nicer wool kilt, tartan wool kilt for, the nicer stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
Very good.
Probably more information they need.
We are not short on words.
That's for sure.
Never.
Or just a little long-winded.
Yes.
Yeah.
Slightly.
That's because of my Nordic ancestry, because we had this tradition of poetry with the skalds, and basically we wrote these incredibly long, complex poems about everything. So, yeah.
I just talk a lot.
No, that's right. There's that.